On the snow, ice, and in the air, U.S. athletes are arriving in Beijing, surrounded by volunteers in full protective equipment for the second Olympics held during the pandemic.
It's global, it's impacting us all.
And where China's zero COVID policies mean even a few positive cases can bring lockdowns during an already isolated games.
Pretty intense. It seems like everything's going to be locked down, a lot of control regarding the different venues and what we can and can't do.
Athletes are required to be vaccinated and do daily testing.
So we have to COVID test 96 hours before, 72 hours, 48, 24 hours, and then 12 hours. So we have 5 COVID tests before we even get on the flight to Beijing.
Starting to brainstorm around.
While Team USA adjusts to even getting their athletes to the games.
We do not want potentially to have everyone on one flight. In case there is a COVID positive or some sort of outbreak.
With tight restrictions and the emerging Omicron variant, NBC's reduced staff in Beijing, pulling its announcers who will now call all events from the United States, while the NHL has pulled its players from the games as well. And COVID restrictions
nobody's been there
have kept many of the athletes from seeing the venues that they'll be competing at.
So it's not like I'm the only athlete who hasn't skied on that hill yet.
And they'll be in isolation bubbles restricted to their hotels or venue of competition to avoid outbreaks like during the U.S. Figure Skating National Championships in Nashville.
Been a lot of athletes here that have tested positive, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm just doing the best that I can, keeping my mask on.
Where 7 skaters tested positive for COVID, and they weren't alone. In the weeks before the Olympics, Michaela Schifrin, Shaun White, Alyssa Liu,
I haven't really thought about that.
And several more athletes all tested positive for COVID.
That I'm positive. Yeah. Riddled with it.
With Beijing creating a closed loop at the games with only invited fans attending events.
Yeah, my poor mom and family won't be able to go to the Olympics and watch.
Meaning U.S. athletes will once again be competing at the Olympics.
Huge bummer. I've always grown up where my family's always been there with me.
Without their family.
They want to be there badly.
Fans or friends to cheer them on.
So it'll be a little bit different in Beijing, and I think there's just going to be key things for me to remember, that they're always going to be watching.